Hi, Courtney here with FormFit, and today we are looking at my feet because April is National Foot Health Awareness Month. And I've seen a lot of my friends that have been dealing with foot pain, and I thought this would be a perfect month to speak to you about some tips and exercises you can use to help strengthen your feet and toes, which will hopefully help alleviate some of the pain that you might be feeling in your heels, your arches, and some of the toe pain that you might be dealing with as well. So the first thing that I'm going to do is recommend you to possibly wear different types of shoes or try to spend less time in your shoes. And the reasoning is this. For those of us that live in this beautiful sunny Florida weather, we like to wear sandals or flip-flops with thongs, and what happens is we start to grip the shoe to help try to hold on to it as we walk. What this does is this creates this hammer toe look, or this constant gripping sensation of these your toes. The other thing that a lot of people wear are shoes with small toe boxes, and this can do a couple of things. The first one, which tends to be the most obvious or most common of the problems, is when you're wearing these smaller smaller toe boxes, you tend to end up pulling this big toe over to your other toes. And what happens is a lot of people overpronate, so there's a lot of pressure going to the middle of the foot, and if your toe is pressed in and you're trying to move, you'll see that puts a lot of pressure in this area. So what your body does, this is how it was explained to me, what your body does is it starts to create a sixth toe or something to counter that movement, and that is a bunion. So if that's not actually accurate, I'm sorry. But that is what was explained to me, and it does make sense. So that's kind of what I'm letting you all know in regards to why that occurs. It's trying to create a better, you know, a more foundation for that area. The other thing that you might notice, which is a little less obvious or less common, not obvious, a little less common, is this second toe, or sometimes even the other toes. You might see other toes curling underneath other toes or rising up over. And this is because people have been shoving their feet into too small of toe boxes. And when you're doing that all day long, every day, over however many years you're doing that, your toes tend to stay in that position. So what we're going to do is we need to start working our toes in the opposite way, which means, here's your first exercise, taking your fingers and you're trying to place them in between all of your toes. Now, this might be difficult for some of you. You're going to want to start up here towards the top, and you may not be able to get all of your fingers to press down into the space in between your toes. Just keep practicing. You might need to find something a little bit thinner than your fingers in the beginning to place in between. And I'll show you at the end something else you can do. There are things out there now. Even, you know what, the pedicure, like if you were to get a pedicure, the little pieces that, the foam things, you can put those in between. I don't recommend walking around the house with those. That's kind of awkward, but just to kind of help stretch out the toes, that's a good option. So that's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is start trying to pull that big toe away from that second toe. And then the last thing I want you to do is try to open your toes, and you want to try to create space in between each and every toe. So you're trying to see if you can see in between each and every toe. So those are 3 exercises for you to do to help work on strengthening. Actually, it's more creating mobility. We'll work on some strengthening exercises next week. But creating more mobility and distance between your toes. So try doing that every single day this week until next Thursday. Place your fingers in between your toes. Separate your big toe from your second toe. And then trying to open up those toes. Hopefully this has helped you. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.